We take a look at Lawrenceville. Wait till you guys hear this one. 237% increase. That's wild. All right, that is huge. Guys, it's Tim Pettigrew here at Coldwell Banker Real Estate Services, and I'm just here to give you an update on the real estate market. So let's backtrack to 2019. The market was pretty hot. Springtime, summertime, homes were selling like crazy. But if we look at 2019, in total, all encompassing 2019, we saw an average sales price of $198,324. Now that is up from $191,202 in 2018. So that is a 3.72% increase. Decent, slow, steady. That's a good year-over-year sales price increase. Now let's look at some of the areas. Let's take a step back 10 years, okay? Or let's look at the 10-year average, rather. So we have, some of the popular areas. The North Allegheny School District, in the last 10 years alone, 42% increase in property values out there. We take a look at Lawrenceville. Wait till you guys hear this one. 237% increase. That's wild. Holy crap! That is huge. 38. Let's look at this one. 237% increase. That's wild. All right, that is huge. We look at Penn Hills. Just last year alone, increased 5%. East Liberty. I'm sure you guys haven't missed what's happening out there, but that's just exploded in growth in the last few years.
Major overhaul is underway tonight in East Liberty, and it will affect everyone from drivers to walkers. The multi-million-dollar project stretching from South Highland to Collins Avenue. Channel 4 Action News report.
And a lot of the development is pushing out into Homewood because honestly they're just running out of room to build. Now Homewood, this is an interesting one. So Homewood in 2018 had an average sales price of $30,294. That was in 2018. In 2019, we saw $55,633. That's an 83% increase from the previous year. Now, if we look at places like my hometown, Lower Borough, New Kensington area, 44% in the last 10 years is the appreciation we saw, and 5.7% from 18 to 19. Now, these are, obviously all average numbers, but now you guys are probably wondering what's the driving force behind these changes or price increases in the Pittsburgh area. Well, I think if you look at Pittsburgh as a whole, you have all these tech companies and other industries, other types of business coming into Pittsburgh, but I think they're recognizing the area as a big opportunity for their businesses to grow.
Gadgets and gizmos atop high-tech cars. This part in here now turning heads here.
Thinking that there was a ghost until I read that it's...
The Pittsburgh Technology Center sits on the site of a former steel mill. This Nabisco factory, shuttered for a century, is a 40,000 square foot office for Google. Carnegie Mellon University teamed with Uber, who selected Pittsburgh as the first city in the world to operate its self-driving technology.
I expect that Pittsburgh's reputation as the center of self-driving vehicle technology recently got a big international boost. Volkswagen made a multi-billion-dollar deal to join Ford as owners of Argo AI. Money editor John Delano sat down with the CEO of Argo.
Already employs 250 people.
I honestly think that's what it is. Now, they're bringing these young professionals into the area. They're trying to find affordable places to live.
Young college graduates graduates moving downtown is up by 53%. They're lured too by amenities like public squares, 53%. 53%.
And places like Lawrenceville, people miss that boat. North Hills prices are increasing. It's becoming less and less affordable. So they're looking for affordable places to live. And you have your investors that are looking for like the next big thing so that they can make some money. And everyone's mad that they missed that Lawrenceville boat. So in summary, Pittsburgh has seen a tremendous amount of growth over the last few years. And let's look, at the interest rate market. It's still near an all-time low, and it costs less to borrow money than it did for, say, our parents or maybe 10, 15 years ago. It's tremendously cheaper. So let's talk about units, all right? 2018, we saw 29,653 houses sell. That was 2018. 2019, we had 30,202 units or homes sold in 2019. So that was an increase of 549 homes. Now, in the grand scheme, that's not a lot. So one thing I want to discuss is 2019 in January, we saw 1,600 units sell for an average price of $172,465. All combined, all the houses combined that sold in January of 2019. Now, fast forward to 2020, this year, so we're at the 31st. I doubt the numbers are going to change too drastically, but we have sold 1,545 units for an average, get this, sales price of $192,826. That's an 11.8% increase from last year. Now, my interpretation of those numbers is that, if we look at the previous numbers of the total units year over year that have sold from 18 to 19, my interpretation is that we're selling more houses overall, but our inventory per month is going down. So our inventory is getting smaller. Thus, the smaller the inventory, that's driving up the sales price. So what does this all mean for you? What are you supposed to make of this information? So, interest rates, they're at an all-time low. We know that. We know that it's cheaper to borrow money than it has ever been. Now, we don't know what the future holds, all right? So what I'm challenging you with today is to sit down and analyze your finances. See if it makes sense for you to buy. Now, I understand renting. There's pros and cons to that, and I'm not saying you shouldn't rent. Just sometimes it makes sense. But over the long haul, renting does not make sense. If you think that you are not paying taxes, or it's cool, I don't have to pay for anything if it breaks, well, I got news for you. You are. It's baked into your rent. And I want to make this a point to just point this out. I can't speak today, but there are numerous ways to buy a house. There are options with no money down. There's your normal conventional 20% down. You can put down however much you want, but there's FHA for typically for first-time home buyers, but not all. It doesn't have to be a first-time home buyer, but 3.5% down. There's programs with down payment assistance. That's usually what gets people. Closing cost assistance. There's grants out there that give you up to $7,500 in closing or payment assistance. So there's so many different opportunities available to you. You just have to sit down and analyze, does it make sense for me to buy? Because I guarantee you that you can afford to own for the same price that you're paying for rent now, or possibly cheaper. How cool would that be? And I know you're probably thinking, I'm gonna wait until spring to buy a house. Well, interestingly enough, the spring in real estate starts now in January, today, or started on January 1st, but spring is here. It's still cold. It's really cold out right now, but the spring market's here. And if you wait until April, May, June, July, August, you're going to be competing with 5, 10 other buyers that are after the same exact thing that you are. All right, you can buy the same house now for the same amount of money, well, ultimately less hassle. You're not competing, you're not doing the highest and best offer. I'm telling you, it gets crazy in the spring and summer. So moral of the story is, if you have questions, if you're wondering, will this work? Can I make this happen? I challenge you to sit down and figure it out. Now, finally, if you are a seller in this market, or you're even thinking about selling, what you need to remember is inventory is low. There's not a lot of houses relative to the amount of buyers or the demand from buyers. If you were to list your house, traditionally people say April, May, June, July, August, those are the hottest months, which I'm not gonna sit here and argue. However, if you think that you can't get good money for your house in January, you are mistaken. Because I will tell you this, the buyers that are out now are the ones that are motivated, that don't want to deal with the craziness of the spring market. Alternatively, as a seller, you have less competition now in these next couple of months than you will, let's say, April, May, June, July, August, where your neighbor's house is for sale as well, and you have to compete with buyers for that house. It gets crazy in the spring market, in the spring months, let's say. Spring markets now, let's just be honest. It gets crazy in the spring months as a buyer, so we are noticing people looking earlier. So like I said, if you are contemplating selling, think about it. You can get great money for your house in this market during this time period. As I said before, home prices have been appreciating. So we know that your house is worth more now than it was yesterday. So home prices have been appreciating on average in the Pittsburgh market 3.72% year over year. What I'm saying to you today is maybe it's time to think about selling. Maybe it's time to upgrade. Maybe it's time to downsize. Maybe it's time to cash out. Your house might be worth more than you think it's worth. So what I'm challenging you with today is to sit down, think about what the future holds for you, because now there's no better time than now to sell. So with that, I am out. That's all I have to say in this video now. If you guys have any questions at any point, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Don't hesitate to go on my website to find out more information. That's timsellpittsburgh.com. Facebook, we all know that I have a Facebook page, facebook.com/timsellspittsburgh. Go there to stay up to date on open houses. I'm always doing open houses every Sunday, so there's always something cool coming up. But just call me, text me, message me if you ever have any questions. I hope that you guys found value in this, and by all means, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Till next time, take care. Thank you for watching this whole video for those of you that have. But if you ever want to talk, you ever want to know how much your house is worth in this market, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever means of communication. I have them all. And let's schedule time to sit down, talk about your plan, see how much your house is worth, see what you can afford, because with a plan, we can get you to the closing table. So with that, take